Welcome to Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, your guide to mastering the realm of real estate in Central East Florida. I am Sir Lancelot Leonard, ready to uncover the secrets of seller strategies, home staging, mortgage mastery, and more. From Daytona Beach to Cocoa Beach, Lake County to St. Augustine, join me as we navigate the intricacies of real estate. As the leader of the Sir Lancelot Group at Florida Homes Realty and Mortgage, I'm here to arm you with knowledge and innovation, whether you're a seasoned homeowner or a first-time buyer, unveiling the kingdom of real estate, one roundtable at a time. On today's episode of the Real Estate Roundtable, we're joined by a true visionary in the St. Augustine real estate scene. Ollie McLeod isn't just a realtor. He's a seasoned expert with deep roots in construction, GIS, data analytics, and a passion for shaping the future of Northeast Florida's housing market. From helping buyers find their dream homes to educating sellers on the market trends, Ollie brings a unique perspective to the table, diving into his journey, insights, and how he's making waves on one of the most competitive real estate markets in the country. Let's welcome Ollie McLeod.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, Ollie. It's awesome to have you here on the show. We just had a really good chat before the show.
Yeah.
On it, going on about what's going on in the real estate market already. But let's start with you, my friend. Ollie, every great journey starts with a spark. What was it that first inspired you to dive into real estate, particularly in the St. Augustine area?
Like we were chatting before, I was in touch and good friends with a local custom home builder here who specialized in luxury builds, like really custom builds, a lot of modern stuff, but all kinds of architectural design. And they were mental. This is the way that I put them. And when he told me he didn't have any photos of them whatsoever, I was like, dude, this stuff needs to be in like our digest, or it needs to be in a magazine, or you need to have a portfolio of some kind. So I started just doing some like interior photography of some of the properties that he had built, and just chatting to owners of these properties and kind of just immersing myself, in the real estate world, but through the funnel of like this construction, custom home building area. And I realized that I was passionate for the kind of properties around here, and it kind of opened my eyes up to just some really amazing properties that we have around town. We're surrounded by water here in St. Augustine. We got the old district, which there's some phenomenal old properties down there. And then just opening myself up to a lot of different owners and people around town kind of helped a lot as well. And so through the construction sort of videography and photography and design type area, as it slowly just made sense for me to get my license. That was about 5 years ago. So right before everything started going bonkers, as we spoke about. And so it was good timing, It's right off the bat, we were pretty much busy, and it's been great ever since.
That is a great story of how you started. I like that you started with the photography and everything. You talked a little bit about that, and let's dive a little deeper into that. It's like you did do your own photography and videography, so that's pretty neat. And how does that help your sellers and buyers and everybody else? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I think that having everything in-house and in one neat package has certainly helped to give the sellers confidence that things are going to get done like in a really quick and timely manner. Like I'm not relying on a photographer that might be backed up in order to get listing photos and get them edited and sent back to me to go live. I can, put a sign in the ground in a day of taking photos and just have everything really streamlined that way. I haven't done nearly as much videography kind of walkthroughs of myself. It's something that I know would be really positive and probably help myself out a lot, but I just have yet to do that. I usually don't like being on camera. So I'm like, I need to get over that hump. And it's hard as well to find a middle ground where it's not super cheesy, because I'm 10.
It's not cheesy. Look at this. You are a handsome guy with good charisma and an accent. I don't think you could lose in this realm.
I'm not capitalizing on it enough, I know.
You have to capitalize on it even more.
Yeah.
I think in front of a camera, you'd be great, my friend.
Yeah, I got to start milking that for sure.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. So you have an intriguing background in construction and GIS data analytics.
That is interesting. That was my wife, I'm a husband-wife real estate team. McLeod 9 team is me and my wife. She's a licensed realtor here in town too. So she worked for the property appraisal office for a long time, almost 10 years. And so she's got this just crazy data mind and she loves absorbing data. And she's also kind of big on Twitter, which it's amazing. The economists and the people that are following real estate trends that are on there just have really good up-to-date data that she's got a better ability of interpreting. And I think that's where GIS comes in. It's like a way to map data out so it's very user-friendly and average Joes like me can interpret it and understand it. So me and her make a really good team in that regard because she's sort of, like you said, I'm good at being charismatic and chatting to people and trying to milk my accent one way or another. And she's good at providing me with all of the statistics and all the data that we're currently seeing.
I'll tell you one thing. Most luxury agents I follow and know have an accent. So it's
Yeah.
definitely up there. Can you tell me a little bit about what GIS data stands for? What does GIS stand for?
Yeah, GIS is Geographic Information Systems. So it's mapping. So Jen, my wife, she was working for the property appraisal office doing a bunch of mapping for parcels and easements and writing legal descriptions on properties. So a lot of stuff that really comes into the real estate world and has helped us be a lot more knowledgeable than I think a ton of agents in our town. Because there's a lot of stuff like that you just don't run into a whole lot. But when it does come up, it can be really important. And if you have no idea about them, you could get yourself or your clients into a bit of trouble. So it's good to have that kind of knowledgeable background and still a ton of contacts at the property appraisal office and at the county. And it just provides more confidence, I think, for our clients working with us.
That is really interesting. I mean, mapping data is one of we should be doing that as realtors to best serve our sellers, is to know the market and each pocket of the market. Like that is really important. Each unique area is its, as I said, unique area. So when it's a unique area, you got to make sure that you price the property right. Because between you and me, the beach is totally different compared to the mainland. And then in mainland, you got so many different pockets. So do you have on the beach as well. So some beach parts are going to be super luxury, high end, and some are going to be condos, and some are going to be townhouses. And then if you can map that and know these trends and what's going on in each of those fields, it is such a wealth of knowledge for your sellers that
Sure.
I don't know why anybody would not hire you guys for that.
Yeah, and we're working on ways to make it even more user friendly and to actually map it out for people on our website so people can understand trends a bit better. And because when you have the data in front of you, it's just numbers. It's really hard to get through.
Definitely.
And it does help paint a clearer picture. And the tricky thing now, which I'm sure you're dealing with there too, is rewiring sellers' brains too to understand what the property is worth now, like versus what it was worth maybe 2 years ago. But
I mean, 2 years ago at 3% interest, or today at 6.5% interest, or 6.35. I think that's the newest one. But there's a 3% difference there, or 3.25% difference. Your property is worth that much. Like affordability wise, you don't have the same buyer pool that you had.
Yeah, and we've had sellers that are pricing their houses based on what the other homes in the neighborhood are going for, but that's properties that are listed for way too high.
Isn't that my favorite thing? Subject is like, here's the data, here's the analytics for it. This is why I don't think you should price it that much, because they're going to sit on the market for 6 to 9 months. Then they're going to fire an agent and hire a new agent that's going to come in and show them the same data I'm showing you, but it took them 9 months to realize that.
Yeah.
And then the 9 months, they could have sold 3 times over at a price that makes sense.
Precisely.
Correct.
I mean, 100%.
So
they're stubborn.
Real estate, especially in Northeast Florida, comes with its own set of challenges. What's been one of the most difficult situations you've faced in this market, and how did you overcome it?
In this market, I guess you could say just when things were running wild in 2021, and like you said, there was just always 3 offers on any one property, and you're just you're kind of playing a psychiatrist role as well as a realtor role with your people that are becoming slowly less enthusiastic about buying because they're just being so downtrodden by all of the missed attempts of buying a home, even at $30,000-$40,000 over asking price. Navigating that was exciting, and we were all way too busy, but I think it was great in the long run. It certainly allowed us to grow our spheres of influence tenfold.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've grown great those years, but I'm thinking about more like recent, as in what I've been noticing myself is buyers are backing off. There's listings on the market. Sellers are getting weird. It's like, well, our houses are not selling. Buyers are like, well, the rates are high. I try to say this to my sellers: with the right price, the right house, you could always sell. That's one of
Hmm.
my lines there with the sellers. And then for the buyers, I say, look, what do all these strategists and investors and all these guys say? You got to buy. The market's
Hmm.
down when there's no actual shopping going on. I've noticed with a lot of my buyers that I had this year, I went in and we could get the moon basically. I mean, we're
Hmm.
not getting a 40% discount, but we're getting a 5 to 10% discount plus everything fixed on the house, et cetera, et
Hmm.
cetera. They're basically moving in. Most of the, if the sellers have capital, most of the buyers are moving into a almost new construction home at this point because we got to
Yeah.
negotiate our butts off and got them the best deal possible, which didn't
Hmm.
happen in 2022 or even
Yeah.
2023 was a little hard.
Yeah.
2021 also was hard. But this year, 2024, was amazing because of that. And now it's getting to be like a balance, sort of balance. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's interesting because we have also seen a lot of, I guess, self-confessed financial advisors or real estate investors that sort of came in really hot and were preaching the whole like date the rate, marry the house type strategy. And this was when everything was really booming in terms of Airbnb as well. And I think we've definitely seen that stagnate a lot. And those same people have bought homes a little too high and they're now sitting on the market. And it's been interesting to watch those people that were just really enthusiastic about buying at these prices that were kind of what they were too high, end up turning around and putting them on the market. And we're starting to see prices like come down and in some cases selling at a loss.
I always say if you're ready to buy and live in the house for 7 years at least, you'll be
Hmm.
set.
Yeah, you'll be.
Plus you can always refinance. That's the date the rate, marry the house, date the rate kind of option. Is like, look, if you're buying as your personal residence for a
Mm.
place for you to stay, I wouldn't worry about it. I would use the market right now to get in at a better price. Because what's going to happen when the rates come down? You and me both know.
Yeah.
Buyers will come out of the woodwork and prices will start going back up again.
Yeah. Be like Black
So
Friday.
exactly. So you're not just a realtor, correct? You're also an educator for your clients. How do you guide and empower them, especially those relocating from out of state?
Honestly, we're really straightforward with our clients. Like I try to be pretty relaxed and low key, and I want my being a calm fellow rub off on them because it can sometimes be a lot for clients. I just had a lady that just moved from New York, and she just had a lot of anxiety about the whole thing. But I think just communicating with her in the same way that I am with you right now, obviously having enough knowledge of my contracts to be confident in them has helped a lot of people really like calm their nerves, and I found that's sort of, it can be a stressful situation to be in, and it is a very important deal as well. It's the biggest transaction of most people's lives. So yeah, that's about it. And I do a lot for my clients. I feel like I go above and beyond, whether it be helping them like find furniture or find renters. I had a great situation where I sold a property for some friends. They needed a rental. I just helped the lady from New York buy a property. She needed somebody to rent her place for 3 months, and it just was like the perfect match. I found a lot of my, yeah, I found a lot of my transactions, like when it organically just falls into place like that, you kind of reassured that it was meant to happen that way. Anytime it's felt too forced, that's when I sort of proceed with caution.
I had a similar story in January of this year. I had a seller, buyer, and another buyer on a different properties. It was like a
Hmm.
big jungle of stuff, but everything kind of came together perfectly at the end of the day. My seller sold her home, had all her furniture. The seller of the home that she was buying did not want to sell the home without the furniture, so she
Hmm.
had to buy the furniture as well
Yeah, yeah,
to,
yeah,
to be able to buy the home.
yeah,
So she was left with two sets of furniture, and I had a buyer for a condo that was like, "I'm looking for furniture, Lance. We're gonna rent
yeah,
this condo out and everything." It's like perfect situation. This
yeah,
played out. We have couches, we have beds, we
yeah.
have everything you want. Paintings,
And you're a
pictures.
superhero. I
Yeah,
mean, that's the
pretty
thing.
much.
Like in their eyes, they're like, "My gosh, you're a magician. How did you make this happen so seamlessly?"
And of course, exactly. You're saying this as you were reading it out of the book. The whole thing played out in a way, and as you go above and beyond, I was there helping the loaders unload the furniture at the
Yeah.
condo because
Yeah.
it was the closing, the day of the closing. We had to get a moving truck that was coming from my sellers to the purchase place, unload the furniture, and then get the furniture that was in the other house and put it on the truck and then drive the truck over to
Yeah.
the next place because it was
Yeah.
no space because she was downsizing from a house to a smaller townhouse. So it was
It
like
worked out perfect.
exactly. I was running around all day that day, furniture
Yeah.
here, furniture there, helping move, all that stuff. We do
I
this
mean,
stuff for
it's,
our clients.
yeah, 100%. And it always feels good when you help somebody out like that and they're really grateful.
At the
Like,
end of the day, yes. It's
you
like,
know, like, yeah, I've got to, like, all of my clients are good friends of mine now at this point. I like to think I stay in touch with almost everybody. And that's how I want the back end of a transaction like this to always look like. Because the industry has got plenty of room for opposite personalities, people that are just hungry for numbers and they maybe sacrifice a bit of their morals in order to get that number. And we don't operate that way. We have another business here in town which is really family oriented, and we've got repeat customers with our surf school. And so I feel like we haven't ever needed to be maybe as cutthroat as some other realtors have set out to be. And I think that's ultimately helped because the demeanor that I bring to the table isn't one of that real salesy cutthroat realtor guy. And I
I don't
think
need to
people
sell this
appreciate
house.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They do. And I always say people smell desperation.
Yeah,
So
for
it,
sure.
they do. Like if
Yeah.
you're desperate for that commission check to come in and you're working your butt off, but you're kind of working it for the wrong reasons,
Mm.
and it's not to
Hmm.
help them, but you to make money, it
Yeah.
always turns out negatively at the end of the day. It's just crazy how this like small, I don't know if it's like Zeke or they read it off your face. I have
Yeah.
no idea how they do it, but it's
Yeah.
like people feel that. It's like a feeling.
Yeah,
So
totally.
looking ahead, where do you see the St. Augustine real estate market heading in the next few years? And what trends are you keeping a close eye on? I know you guys are in analytics. Maybe you have
Mm,
a lot more information about this than more
mm.
more other
I
people.
should have, I should have had my wife sitting in on this interview with me because she would be spitting them off like it's nothing. But I will say that from what I'm seeing, like not only did we have this big influx from around the country wanting to move to Northeast Florida, now I've started seeing a lot of folks from Miami and places around Florida itself that are coming up to Northeast Florida. And I think that's just only really stabilizing and strengthening the values here in town because it's a great place to be. I mean, I think that it's more temperate. I think we've got only a 6.5 hour drive and you can be in the mountains. And I think people down in other areas south of us in Florida are starting to see that too. And it has the whole downtown is just, it's a beautiful set and setting. Every time I drive down there, I think how lucky we are to live in such a special town, given it's the oldest city. But it has that allure to it. It's really popular in the summertime. That's when we kind of run our surf school business. Wintertime, we get a ton of tourism as well for the Nights of Lights. All of these factors are telling me that nobody here needs to be worried about their values.
You got this great college in the middle of town too.
Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite towns to visit. And we usually go up there twice or three times a year. We go for the Nights of Lights, of course, take the kids up.
Yeah.
We like to eat at some of the restaurants are just phenomenal up there compared to our
Hmm.
area. Our area is great too. We have some good restaurants, a lot of Italian up down here, but up there you guys got a
Mm,
really good diversity of restaurants and
a
downtown
lot.
area.
Yeah,
Like,
downtown or on the intercoastal, there's caps on the water. There's some more like beach shack style eateries on St. Augustine Beach that are fun. Tons of cafes. There's something for everyone here.
you got the high-end steakhouses and all that too. Yes, you got everything. And it's just a beautiful town to go to. It has such history and
Yeah.
everything. I mean, where can you go and enjoy the beach, visit a historic
Hmm.
castle or fort,
Yeah.
get a tour of the Fountain of Youth,
Yeah. Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and a winery too, and a blah, blah, blah. I just can't stop saying what else you guys
Totally.
got out there. It's like just so incredible.
Yeah, good live music,
Yeah,
there's a great surfing community. There's a lot of like kind of healthy movements going on here. Great farmers markets and artisan markets. And there's a lot. I mean, a lot of people that travel here end up wanting to move here. And that sort of
definitely.
helped me out with our surf school business because that's tourism driven. So I'll kind of get to be in front of a lot of people as they descend upon St. Augustine and do a surf lesson, and that are wanting to move here. And so it
Oh,
works out. Our businesses end up interrelating, and there's a bit of a good symbiotic relationship there.
so as a hero in real estate, the first time home buyers or potential investors eyeing the St. Augustine market, what key advices would you give them to ensure success?
For like a
First time home
first,
buyers and then investors. So let's break it down to two. First time
mm,
home buyers first.
first time home buyers, I mean, I would just say communicate with a good agent that has been around. It's not going to get you into a property that you're going to run into a ton of defect issues during inspection. That's just going to prolong that contract timeline. There's still plenty of properties that first time home buyers are eligible for that are great little properties in certain areas. Also, just to look into the CDD fees and the HOA fees and really price it out, because some properties look attractive in terms of their purchase price when you start factoring in what insurance is looking like now and your CDD fees and your HOA fees on top of that. I'm constantly being surprised by how people are doing it on top of car payments and life on top of that. So I think being with a realtor that can really help you price that out is a really wise decision. Same thing regarding investors coming into town. I'm helping them right now really look at the numbers because a lot of stuff isn't making sense, especially if they're financing. I mean, there's barely anything out there that's going to make sense in a short-term rental scenario if they're financing 6.5% more, if they're doing an investor cash flow model or something like that. And really just doing those numbers before even going down that track.
Would you be able to help someone with doing those numbers? You guys help with investors, like give them a spreadsheet of, look, these are the fees, possible
Yeah.
income. This would be your net at the end of the day. You guys do all that kind of stuff for your investors?
Yeah, so again, I think that what makes a great realtor is somebody who's got a lot of contacts that are tried and true, whether it be like a good drywall guy or a great electrician or a plumber, and all of which we have slowly but surely built up a really solid group of folks that we feel confident in recommending. And then same thing with property managers. I've got a good friend of mine who manages 70 to 80 properties in town, and he's really good with his data as well. He uses AirDNA, the software platform, amongst other things, obviously his own data. And so that's the best way, I think, to just show what actual similar properties are currently doing on the short-term rental market and make your offer with that knowledge.
That's awesome. So, Ollie, it's time for your plug. Tell me a little bit about your surf school and your website
Mm.
and how people can reach you.
Yeah, so Happy Wave Surf School. That's my wife and I have been teaching surf all around the world. We were accredited in Australia. Australia is very regimented, so you got to go through a lot of different processes and get certificates and registrations and all of that, which ultimately is a good thing. And we taught there. We ended up managing a surf school in New Zealand for some time and then Puerto Rico as well. We love Puerto Rico. We go down there all the time in the winters. That's their surf season. And we started Happy Waves, gosh, about 5 or 6 years ago, and got a really good boost, I guess, through COVID when outdoor activities were where it was at. And anyone who's come and done our program has always stayed with us. And so we've ended up being able to build this great rapport with a lot of really great families around town. And every summertime we're doing 12 weeks straight of surf camp and lessons. And it's tiring, but it's gotten us to a point where we're now the highest rated surf school in town.
Any
And
champions come out of your school yet?
no, I got a champion that works for me though. His name's Benji Land. She's a great surfer, one of the best for his age. And kids love him, love watching him surf. And yeah, it's a fun. We got a really good crew, and I think that's what helps as well.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
you know, we're dealing with people's kids in water and waves. It's pretty sketchy if you don't know what you're doing. 25, 30 kids every week. You want to have the right crew, making sure everyone is doing things safely.
So I'm pretty sure you guys have lifeguards on duty, et cetera, to help you guys
Well,
out.
yeah, like that was one of the accreditations that we have. We're all lifeguard certified, not just CPR certified and first aid certified, but
Yeah.
lifeguard certified. You couldn't be a surf coach in Australia if you didn't have that designation. Here in America, it's a little more relaxed. Um, so really anyone can be a surf coach, but I think to be a good surf school, I mean, you need to have somebody that is certified in that regard at all times, and we provide that. And my wife is very much so, ends up playing the mum role to everyone. She gets, she's very safe. Again, our two personalities, we're like yin and yang, but I'm more mellow and I'm like, yeah, you guys can go paddle out in that, no worries. She's like, are you kidding me?
You're the dad figure. And then real estate plug, website,
Yeah, so
anything you
McLeod
guys
9.
got going on that you want to promote.
Yeah, like our brokerage is phenomenal. We really love like the team that we're with. Our brokers, Bobby Appleby and Damon Lee, great, both locals, been here doing this for a long time. I feel like we all kind of share that same demeanor where we're just trying to do right by our clients. We're not trying to boast about our numbers online and trying to achieve things in lieu of just morally being able to help people achieve their real estate dreams in a way that's organic and we're not trying, too hard. But my wife and I are a husband-wife real estate team. We call the McLeod 9 team, and it's been great. Like I said, being able to leverage her background in data analytics and GIS, and pair that with my getting in front of a lot of people, knowing a lot of people in town, putting that all together. We've been able to create a really good little package that's helped a bunch of people achieve those real estate dreams, and we're excited to keep on doing that.
Ollie, thank you very much for coming on the pod. I really enjoyed this conversation. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk some more and meet up maybe. We're not so far from each other, about 45 minutes.
Yeah,
we could even meet up in person or do some business together. But all in all, this was an amazing podcast. You're an amazing person. I love your family. I love that you're doing surfing and tying it in with real estate and getting this whole movement for the kids and getting their families together and all that. I think it's great.
Well, the surfing real estate is a thing here in town, especially. There's got to be about 40 of us surfing realtors, I think. Yeah.
I feel like we all need real estate brokerage.
Yeah, that's what I think. Surf estate. We need to buy that domain and get everyone on board.
For sure. That is awesome. Thank you, Ollie, again.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us on Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, where we've unveiled the mysteries of real estate together. Remember, in this kingdom of possibilities, every dream home is just a discussion away. I can help your real estate dreams come true. Just call me at 786-449-7518. Until our next roundtable, may your ventures be prosperous and your homes be filled with love and joy. Farewell, fellow knights of real estate.